Oh, no older than the first child. She was laying on her stomach, her barrettes in a pool of blood next to her. Her left eye was too popped out and popped. Oh! What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Haunted Van Radio. I've been having a lot of fun with these, just reading these stories, and just I look back at it and I see how I talk, and I see how sorry, I'm sick right now. I guess I wasn't gonna sneeze. Anyways, I don't know, just seeing how I talk and how I joke, and like I like see how, like, is this how people see me? Is this how I talk to people? Oh my gosh, how am I not fired? How do I even have a job? How do I have... Today we are going to be reading Squidward's Unaliving. I probably shouldn't be drinking milk right now, but milk is delicious, so... Yeah, Squidward's Unaliving. I don't know if I could say the S word on this, on YouTube, so I'm probably just gonna stay clear of that one. Just gonna call it SS. SS was posted September 1st, 2010. Damn, dude, I was 12? I was 12. While I was actually watching SpongeBob, some people were, like, actually writing about how, like, this dude, like, unalived himself. It is like Jeffrey Dahmer, like, anonymous, like, forums, like, and then Squidward said, "It's so shiny." Before you guys ask, I am not blazed beyond belief. I'm not blazed to eternity. I am eating hot Cheetos. And because I'm sick, I have a dry mouth. And I keep getting, like, it's almost like, it's like cotton mouth, like, right here. I've seen a lot of, like, people talk about this one, and I've probably seen this, like, once or twice on one of those, like, top 10 conspiracies from Nickelodeon or children's cartoons or something like that. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how all of our cartoons are filled with subliminal messages? Like, dicks and boobs and, like, other, like, weird, like, adult situations that they put into cartoons. And then you have, like, stuff like All Quiet on Set. You have stuff like Justin Bieber. You have like different weird stuff. Even what is it, the guy who co-wrote Rick and Morty? Damn it, just sneeze already. Dang it. But you have, like, all these different, like, people who are in places that are super close to kids, and nobody does anything. Nobody does anything. There's hardly any investigations. It's like the Catholic Church. They just move the priest to, like, a new city or something, or new, like he's like, oh yeah, like, you know, introducing our new pastor. What's the guy's name? Who's the guy from Quiet on Set? Hold on. And the guy accused from All Quiet on Set. Got it. Hey guys, this is your new pastor, Dan Schneider. That joke took forever. It's not even funny at this point. At this point, it's just like, oh my gosh, bro. Lol. On this thing, it gives me an autism test. Let's see if I have a touch of the tism. I'm gonna start this off because, and I hope it doesn't say the S word too many times, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I don't know if I'm gonna get flagged. I don't know if I'm gonna get a strike. For some reason, YouTube doesn't like real world situations, so therefore the population's turned into a bunch of pussies. So, like, I don't know what I can and can't say because somebody might get triggered, you know? It's like, okay, I get it, but you need to chill out. Like, these are real world situations, and as an adult, you gotta sometimes put yourself in the thick of it. And it's so crazy because nowadays people are not even equipped to hear the S word on YouTube or something like that, or you'll get flagged or demonetized or something like that. It's so stupid. Anyways, I might cut that out, honestly, because not everyone wants my political opinion, and I voted for Kanye, so I just wanted to start off by saying, if you want an answer at the end, prepare to be disappointed. Aww. There just isn't one. I was an intern at Nickelodeon Studios for a year in 2005. He's like, and then they asked me to be on All Quiet on Set for my degree in animation. It wasn't paid, of course. My internships aren't. But it did have some perks beyond education. He's like, it did have some perks. I did get to go into a hot tub with Dan Schneider and a couple of his buddies. It was lit. I don't remember much. They gave me a fuzzy soda, and I just remember waking up like I just took a huge shit, and I don't know, like, oh my god. To adults, it might not seem like a big one, but most kids at the time would go crazy over it. I would have gone crazy over it too. Honestly, if you told me that kids were, getting like diddled, I would never have watched Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or any. It's so crazy. I just keep going back to that, like how nobody knew, really, like nobody knew about like a certain island around, like, like with that also had to do with kids. Nobody knew about like, like a lot of stuff that goes on in like, and the government is well aware of Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. These are the things that are programming the future of kids. Nobody, like, all Disney? No. Oh my gosh, bro. How are these people not in jail? How is there oh my gosh. How is there not a angry mob of parents just storming each one of these studios and just taking a look around? They're like, why is there a hot tub in every office here? It's like, oh man, all these animators must be pediatricians as well, because they all have pictures of feet all over. Must be like a massage therapist or something. I don't know. Now, since I work directly with the editors and animators, I got to view the new episodes days before they aired. I'll get right to it without leaving too many unnecessary details. They had very recently made the SpongeBob movie, and the entire staff was somewhat sapped of creativity, so it took them longer to start up for the season. My brother had a friend who every morning he went over, he watched the SpongeBob movie. And you could tell this kid watched the SpongeBob movie every day. He literally acted like he watched the SpongeBob movie every day. But the delay lasted longer for more upsetting reasons. There was a problem with the series 4 premiere that set everyone and everything back for several months. Everything after season 2, ass. Me and two other interns and I were in the editing room along with the lead animators and sound editors for the final cut. We received the copy that was supposed to be Fear of a Krabby Patty. I remember that episode. Isn't SpongeBob like gets like PTSD from like too many Krabby Patties or something, and they're like trying to eat them? Then at the end he's like, hey, here's some cookies. This is a giant cheeseburger, bro. Honestly, that I miss seeing cartoons as kids, and I was like, whoa, that's so hilarious. Now as a lame adult, my back hurts, my hair's balding, my my vision's getting bad. I'm like, that would never happen in real life. I'm like, damn, grandpa, way to ruin it. And gathered around the screen to watch. Now, given that it wasn't final yet, animators often put up a mock title card, sort of an inside joke for us, with a phony, oftentimes lewd title such as How Sex Doesn't Work instead of Rock-a-Bivalve. See, dude, and I've heard of stuff like this. I've heard of stuff like this to where they actually do that, and sometimes it slips. Like, remember you look it up like on the news. You go on YouTube. You're already here. What's up? Welcome to YouTube. Haunted Van Radio, the channel. Look up newscasters flipping off camera before air. Dude, people will do stuff like that, like right before it's like, hi, welcome to Fox Channel 5 News, and it's like, bro, what the f***? We saw that. He's like, hey, f*** you, TV. Can't imagine, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. It's like Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna tell one of his jokes, but I'm gonna kind of like mix it up. I'm gonna mix it up. See, I give credit. I don't steal jokes. This is all me, baby. He's like, oh man, everything's like, he's like, I put on Pepe Le Pew for like, my son, and I'm like, oh yeah, watch this guy. He's funny. This is real funny stuff. Pepe Le Pew's like trying to like, diddle the cat. He's like, oh, what the hell? He's like, this guy's a creep. And then he puts on Sesame Street. And I can't imagine me doing that. And I'm like, oh, dude, all these TV shows are like so terrible. And I'm like, oh, bad. I was like, oh, okay. Sesame Street. Like the title card, when racism saves the day, or my asshole still hurts, or Steamroller Supreme featuring my friend Eddie. It's something weird, bro. Something weird. And I'm just like, what the hell? Then I check like the channel guide, the info, and it's like, Oscar makes a friend. It's like, wait a minute. Like they probably forgot to take it out. That's so weird. When SpongeBob and Patrick adopt a sea scallop. I remember that. Patrick's so funny. He literally was going to work and he's like, oh, I gotta work a double shift. I've been over here working. He's at his house watching TV. He's like, oh, bro, you can't have that many diapers. And like, these. Dude, if you've ever taken care of a baby, they poop so much. It's insane. I remember I had a favorite shirt, and my brother, he literally, like, as soon as I took the diaper off, I was like, All my mom did was like, get in the shower. Don't get it on the floor. I was like, my face. It was like SpongeBob, my leg. Oh. Nothing particularly funny, but work-related chuckles. So when we saw the title card, Squidward's unaliving. Screw you, YouTube. We didn't think it more than a morbid joke. Cue the, what is it? The Bob O'Reilly? You're probably wondering how I got here. Well, it all started when I took an internship at Nickelodeon. One of the interns did a small throat laugh at it. Yeah, Nickelodeon, they do a lot of throat laughs. I've never heard of a throat laugh. The happy-go-lucky music plays as is normal. The story began with Squidward practicing his clarinet, hitting a few sour notes like normal. We hear SpongeBob laughing outside, and Squidward stops, yelling at him to keep down, as he has a concert that night and needs to practice. Squidward was always a hater. Every time he got hurt, or like everybody was hating on him, or something happened, I was so happy. That literally, I wonder what kind of effect that had on me. Like, I hope the haters get it, just like Squidward did. Like what does that do? Like, there's always a character, like, in the shows that always gets it. Like Chowder, it was, Snitzel? Rada rada. Or even, like, undeserving characters, like on South Park, Kenny. Or a regular show, Benson. And these are just normal people who are normal people, and they just have annoying people around them, and they just always get done in for it. It's so weird. It's like, but it's funny. It's funny. I love that. Honestly. Rob says okay and goes to see Sandy with Patrick. He's like, okay, we gotta get some bad bitches in the mix. Sandy's always in a bikini. He's like, they must not like chicks. Then SpongeBob's over here like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it. The bubbles splash. Screens comes up, and we see the ending of Squidward's concert. This is when things began to seem off. While playing, a few frames repeat themselves, but the sound doesn't. At this point, sound is synced up with animation, so yes, that's not common. But when he stops playing, the sound finishes as if the skip never happened. There's slight murmuring in the crowd before they begin to boo him. Not normal cartoon booing, that is common in the show, but you would very clearly hear malice in it. Squidward's in full frame and looks visibly afraid. The shot goes to the crowd, with SpongeBob in center frame, and he too is booing, very much unlike him. That isn't the oddest thing, though. What is odd is everyone had hyper-realistic eyes. It reminds me of like when it was like, with the SpongeBob episode, it was like, and they're actors. Very detailed. Clearly not shots of real people's eyes, but some a bit more real than CGI. The pupils were red. Probably eating hot Cheetos. Or blazing it. 420 style. No jutsu. Of us looked at each other, obviously confused. But since we weren't the writers, we didn't question its appeal to children yet. I'm sure they don't question a lot of things that appeal to children yet. Probably not as of today, because a lot of the stuff I see, bro, it only gets worse. The shot goes to Squidward, sitting on the edge of his bed, looking very forlorn. The view of his porthole window is of a night sky, so it isn't very long after the concert. The unsettling part is at this point, there is no sound. Literally, no sound. You know, like when you could feel the tension in the room and you could just like, oh, dude, you feel like your like skin like buzzing a little bit and you're just like, not even the feedback from the speakers in the room. It's as if the speakers were turned off, though their status showed them working perfectly. He just sat there, blinking, in his silence for about 30 seconds. Then he started to sob softly. He put his hands, tentacles, over his eyes and cried quietly for a full minute more. All the while, a sound in the background very slowly growing from nothing to barely audible. It sounded like a slight breeze through a forest. There's no breeze underneath the ocean. See, my grandpa vibes are kicking in like, that wouldn't happen, they're underwater. It's a current. It's a current, not a breeze. The screen slowly begins to zoom in on his face. By slow, I mean it's only noticeable if you look at 10 shot seconds apart side by side. His sobbing gets louder, more full of hurt and anger. The screen then twitches a bit, as if it twists in on itself for a split second, then back to normal. The wind through the trees sound, current, slowly louder and more severe, as if a storm is brewing somewhere. Tsunami. It's not a storm, it's a tsunami. The eerie part is this sound, and Squidward sobbing sounded real, as if the sound wasn't coming from the speakers, but as if the speakers were holes the sound was coming through from the other side. As good as sound as the audio likes to have, they don't purchase the equipment to be that good to produce sound of that quality. Noticing they're having like hyper realistic eyes and hyper realistic like tension, like the sound quality is like way better than it's supposed to be. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Maybe it's like, maybe they're just looking through an alternate dimension. Oh. Below, the sound of the wind and sobbing very faint. Something sounded like laughing. It came at odd intervals and never lasted more than a second, so you had a hard time pinning it. We watched this show twice, so pardon me if things sound too specific, but I've had time to think about them. No, you're good. Tell a story. Tell a story to the best of your ability. You got this. After 30 seconds of this, the screen blurred and twitched violently, and something flashed over the screen, as if a single frame was replaced. The lead animation editor paused and rewound frame by frame. What we saw was horrible. It was a still photo of a dead child. Bro, why is it always the dead kids? Why is it always the dead kid angle? Oh no, dude. Hey, was it a child fish or was it a real child? Because if it's a child fish, that's weird. If it's a child, like a dead child, like a real child, I'd say, once again, we need to storm Nickelodeon Studios. We need to check. We gotta ask questions. We gotta wonder why there's always hot tubs in each of these executive offices. We gotta check every basement, okay? He was naked down to his underwear, his stomach crudely cut open, and his entrails laying beside him. Bro, what the heck? Why is he wearing underwear? Why doesn't he wear boxers like a man? Bro, come on. He was laying on some pavement that was probably a road. I'm like not even able to make jokes anymore because it's... Alright. The most upsetting part was that there was a shadow of the photographer. Oh my gosh. The most upsetting part was that there was a shadow of the photographer. Bro, what if right now the guy who's showing them the video was the one who killed the kid, and like they're all just like, I think Frank killed that kid. And then the coworker's like, we're only supposed to get him in the hot tub, not kill them. Damn. The most upsetting part. There, it gets worse. The most upsetting part, it gets worse. The most upsetting part was that there was a shadow of the photographer. I just read that. Still. There was no crime tape, no evidence, tags, or markers, and the angle was completely off for a shot designed to be evidence. He kills a kid, and they're just like, wow, what real shoddy photography, Frank. What kind of angle is this? You didn't even use a wide-angle lens? Your focus is off, bro. Your focus is off. Why don't give me the camera. It would seem the photographer was the person responsible for the child's death. We were, of course, mortified, but pressed on, hoping that it was just a sick joke. They're probably used to this stuff. They're probably like, oh man, dude, I saw a dead kid last week. I don't want to see this again. Why did they just press on? Why did they just press on? Why did they just, like, oh, dude, I hope this is just a joke. Like, you know, CGI could do anything these days. They're like using like Sora AI to like generate this. The screen flipped back to Squidward, still sobbing, louder than before, and half body in frame. There was now what appeared to be blood running down his face from his eyes. The blood was also done in a hyper-realistic style, looking as if you touched it, you'd get blood on your fingers. I don't know, dude. My old TV was pretty bad. I had one of those like box TVs with a cassette thing, but it was like a box, dude. It was probably like it was like 1.5 by 1.5 feet in, like, you know, 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. It was heavy, dude. I remember, but it had like a handle because you were supposed to be able to pick it up. I never got that. I was like, aren't you just supposed to leave it on the shelf? The wind sounded current now, as if it were that of a gale blowing through the forest. There were even snapping sounds of branches. The laughing, a deep baritone, lasting at longer intervals and coming more frequently. After about 20 seconds, the screen again twisted and showed a single frame photo. Dan Schneider. The editor was reluctant to go back. We all were. But he knew he had to. I'm like, Dan, can you, why don't you stick to teen dramas, okay? Leave the cartoons to the professionals, okay? Do you even know what you're doing? This time the photo was that of what appeared to be a little girl. No older than the first child. She was laying on her stomach, her barrettes in a pool of blood next to her. Her left eye was too popped out and popped. Oh! Naked except for underpants. Her entrails were piled on top of her, above another crude cut along her back. What the dude, what the, you know, I never read these creepypastas as a kid. And I'm so glad, because I now know why, like, so many people I know who did read these, they're so fucked up right now. They're just like, they're so cynical. They're so, oh my gosh, there's no morale. Like, their eyes are just like those empty, like, this is what people were reading back then? Oh my gosh, dude. And on we go. Again, the body was on the street, and the photographer's shadow was visible. Very similar in size and shape to the first. I had to choke back vomit, and one intern, the only female in the room, ran out. The show resumed. Bro, I'd be throwing up. I feel like throwing up right now. I just ate all those Cheetos. If I throw up on film, on like right now, I am going to post that. I'm gonna do like a full on like. About 5 seconds after this second photo had played, Squidward went silent, as did all sound, like it was when this scene started. He put his tentacles down, and his eyes were now done in hyperrealism, like the others were in the beginning of this episode. They were bleeding, bloodshot, and pulsating. That's how I feel right now, honestly. I'm like coughing and like my throat's dry and those Cheetos, like, I'm sick. After about 10 seconds, he started sobbing. Damn, Squidward, you cry so much. Be a man, bro. Be a man. This time, not covering his eyes. The sound was piercing and loud, and most fear-inducing of all is his sobbing was mixed with screams. Tears and blood were dripping down his face at a heavy rate. The wind, current, sound came back, and so did the deep-voiced laughing. And this time, the still photo lasted for a good 5 frames. What are frames? How long is a frame? A frame is a second, right? The animator was able to stop it on the 4th and backed up. This time the photo was of a boy. Dude, what the You know what's funny? If these little kids were over the age of 18, I would not give 2 shits. Like, nobody, let's be real here. Man dies in car accident. Everyone's like, oh, dang, that's crazy. I hope his family's okay. Kid dies in accident. Oh my god. Oh no. It's like, no, I hate it when, I'm getting all choked up. I hate it when stories write about this. Another thing too. Why is he stopping it? Like, he's like, oh, wait, you guys missed it. This is a really good part. Hold on, let me rewind it. Here, look at this. Look. Everyone's like, bro, what? Dan is on one today. What is up with this guy? Is this what he does at his desk? About the same age, but this time the scene was different. The intros were just piled out from a stomach wound by a large hand. The right eye popped and dangling, blood trickling down it. The animator proceeded. It was hard to believe, but the next one was different. But we couldn't tell what. He went on to the next, same thing. He went back to the first and played them quicker, and I lost it. I vomited on the floor. The animating and sound editors gasping at the screen. The 5 frames were not as if they were 5 different photos. They were played out as if they were frames from a video. We saw the hand slowly lift out the guts. We saw the kid's eyes focus on it. We even saw 2 frames of the kid beginning to blink. Dude, why is nobody kicking this guy? I would have instinctively got up and beat the shit out of him. I would have got up and kicked his fucking ass. That is, see, I'm getting riled up, dude. Nobody should be doing this. Oh gosh, dude. I was talking about like how like people get triggered and how like, oh, they're sensitive pussies. People who fought back in like Vietnam and World War II, they're like, don't be such a pussy, boy. I saw worse things than them. The lead sound editor told us to stop. Good, dude, what the heck? How did this go on for more than 2 minutes? He had to call in the creator to see this. Mr. Hillenberg arrived within about 15 minutes. He was confused as to why he was called down there, so the editor just continued the episode. How did editor Dan just keep, like, you know, they didn't stop him. They were just like, okay, I'll pause it for him. Just get him down here fast. I don't want him to miss this. I'll keep it paused. Don't worry. If you guys need to use the bathroom, I'll keep it paused. Don't worry. I won't start it without you guys. Once the few frames were shown, all screaming, all sound again stopped. Squidward was just staring at the viewer, full frame of the face, for about 3 seconds. The shot quickly panned out, and that deep voice said, "Do it." And we see in Squidward's hand a shotgun. See, now it's funny again. He immediately puts the gun in his mouth and pulls the trigger. Realistic blood and brain immediately puts the gun in it. Oh. Realistic blood and brain matter splatters the wall behind him and his bed, and he flies back with the forest. At least 5 seconds of this episode show his body on the bed, on his side, one eye dangling on what's left of his head above the floor, staring blankly at it. Then the episode ends. Mr. Hillenberg is obviously angry at this. What if the creator of SpongeBob, like in this story, obviously not in real life, he's like, now this is SpongeBob. He demanded to know what the heck was going on. Like, well, Dan, he said he was taking a break from iCarly to help us with SpongeBob, and then most people left the room at this point, so it was just a handful of us to watch it again. He stayed. The guy who's actually narrating this he stayed. He's like, oh my god, this is terrible. He's like, ah. Viewing the episode twice only served to imprint the entirety of it in my mind and cause me horrible nightmares. I'm sorry I stayed. Yeah, see, stupid. But honestly, I have like a pretty good vivid imagination. Like literally when people say stuff, I think of Family Guy skits in my head because I'm just like, I know exactly how that would look like on the TV. As I'm reading this, I'm like visualizing it and I'm just like, the only theory we could think of was the file was edited by someone in the chain from the drawing studio to here. The CTO was called in to analyze when it happened. The analysis of the file did show it was edited over by new material. However, the timestamp of it was a mere 24 seconds before we began viewing it. All equipment involved was examined for foreign software and hardware, as well as glitches, as if the timestamp may have glitched and showed the wrong time. But everything checked out fine. We didn't know what happened, and to this day nobody does. They just dropped it, and they were like, alright, everybody back to work. No more of this shit. There was an investigation due to the nature of the photos, but nothing came of it. No child scene was identified, and no clues were gathered from the data involved, nor physical clues in the photos. I never believed in inexplainable phenomena before, but now that I have something happen and can't prove anything about it beyond anecdotal evidence, I think twice about things. Think twice about what? Like every time I put a VHS on of Hercules or like The Little Mermaid, I'm like, let me put like it's $100 bill, like let me look in the light, see if it's like act. That's the end of the story. That is insane, dude. That is insanely disgusting. That, oh my gosh. This was posted anonymous. Whoever posted this, you are messed up. This is like Jeffrey Dahmer in his bag, cooking it up in the kitchen to post it on creepypasta.com. That is so weird, dude. Oh, damn. I have a very vivid imagination. Okay, let's... the part that got me was like the eyeball, like that's out and it's popped, but it's still like attached and it's like out, and like he's like looking at himself like oh, my milk. I feel a little bit better. Let's read some comments. Olive Boomerang, 26 March. Oh, March. What is it? Oh, my inverter. I was like, Squidward? Gold Cone, January 31st, 2020. This was fucked up. Agreed. See these replies. Actually, 100% agreed, because let's say I'm in need of a mental hospital. Honestly, no, I'm gonna need to clear my hard drive up here, dude. Honestly, I'm gonna need to like a detox. The username, bitch. 18 November 2020. Period. I hated it when people said that shit. That was so fucking stupid. He's like, hell yeah, dude. I'm so down for Chipotle. Period. It's like, never mind, bro. Don't come with me. I'm gonna go get that shit alone. I don't want to sit with your dumb ass. What is it? Anonymous. Very interesting. It would have been better if the clip would be here or some link to the specific video. But anyways, would have been age restricted. Yeah, dude. If it was more like it made you like interact more, like it sent you to links and stuff, and it actually like showed slow, but not too showing, not showing at all, dude. Hopefully there's no kids like involved, but like it gives you like a sense of like you're in it and you're also watching the video with it. That would be cool, but it's stuff you read. It's not like, you know, YouTube. Lice, you're pookie. Ugh, gross. 10 February 2024. Oh, this is recently. The problem is is if this is real or not. For real. I hope this isn't real. But honestly, if it came from the office or studio of Dan Schneider, I wouldn't put two winks past it. There's like 20 different people telling the same story, but then there's the Red Mist Mambo Jumbo factor too. And about 20% of the YouTubes of it add up to the story and are consistent with each other. That sentence didn't make sense, but I get you. I personally am in a whirlwind with whole thing. But one thing can be said. R.I.P. Squidward. Guest. IDFK. Dude, I was expecting this to be better than it was. The picture of Squidward made me chuckle just a wee bit. Bro, if this didn't like morbidly like, you know, make you think, you're like... So okay, so what I don't get about it is, what supernatural aspect was it? Was it like a ghost editor, you know? I don't get how there was supernatural influences on this. You know, it really just sounds like somebody took it home, put it through CapCut a couple times, and then like, you know, added some like different like stuff in the video. It's like, it's not really just like, oh, ghosts must have edited it, supernatural. I don't think there's anything supernatural about it. I think somebody, one of those sick mofos at Nickelodeon, I'm sure if you close your eyes and point in a direction, you'd hit like 5 of them. They probably just edited it. Or the guy that's showing it is like, you guys don't like it? Oh, I gotta play it off. Who did this? I think they should have forwarded the story, like kept it going with, and then the cops got involved. But everyone was just like, all right, time to go back to work. Another day at Nickelodeon Studios. That's so ridiculous. That is so insane. How Dan Schneider is not under investigation for this one, I only God knows. But all right, I'm going to go take a bath in holy water. So I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of Haunted Van Radio. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, dude, I'm hella traumatized. Oh my gosh. Where's my shotgun? Hold up.